This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
It's now time for Connecting Caregivers with author, speaker, caregiver advocate, and talk show host Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for caregivers.
All the caregivers around the world today, it's time to lift you up. It's time to celebrate. Good afternoon and welcome to Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned, because you know I got a bunch of all that stuff. And on the board today, we have the fabulous Ed. How you doing, Ed?
And a happy Saturday to you, ladies.
Happy Saturday, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. That just happened to me, too, yeah.
Yeah, this just happened to him, too.
It's been a marathon, believe me.
Yeah, for sure. And with me, as always, is my best friend, my co-host, and my sidekick, not psychic, Lynn Thornley.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
It's 2021. We're all good.
Yeah.
We're all good. Oh,
I think it's time to turn the page.
And the gas bubble in my eye went away, and I can see.
Yes, that is. She had surgery. She had major surgery.
Wow.
So that's been really. So yeah, you're done with 2020.
I was done in March. But yeah, no, it's going to get better. It's going to take a while. We'll still wear our masks when we go out. They said after your shot, you have to wear it too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that's okay because it'll get better.
It will get better. And I think we just have to, before I'm just still, let me introduce. My friend Kathy Blair is here from KRB Move Management.
Hi, Linda.
I'm glad you're here today. But I think we're just like starting, it's like, let's just live again. Mm. It's different, but just let's live again. We kind of like stopped living. We're like in that fog, that COVID fog, the fog of everything. And I don't like it.
I'm starting my New Year's resolutions Monday because it's ridiculous to start on the weekend. And it is. And I'm going to start eating better and walking more and drinking less. No, I'm going to try and get healthier so that when
she quit smoking during the surgery and everything too. So that's huge.
Yeah, it's 3.5 months.
Yeah.
Wow. And 10 pounds.
But no. So yeah, I just think we need to start living again. I think we've been living in too much fear. And I'm telling you, I'm like so happy the election is done, even though there's still nonsense going on, because I just don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. I want to hear about what I need to do today, what we can do to help caregivers, what we can do to just help each other instead of all this pissing and moaning and everything else. I really don't like that.
I think by June next year, we're back to normal.
You think so?
Yeah.
In time for your birthday?
Well, that's why I figure it's June 12th.
And the world comes back.
It does.
Maybe Skylar will come home before then. So, yeah. She's been in quarantined in Germany like 4 times. Wow. They just want, he goes on the base and then he's got to be quarantined. And then she goes to work and then sometimes then she's got to be quarantined.
Wow.
But I'll tell you, my granddaughter Skylar, so she moved to Germany shortly after the wedding. And so she calls me like a week before Thanksgiving and she goes, Grandma, I'm adulting. I said, you're adulting? Really? Well, what's adulting? She goes, I didn't realize it. First, you got to clean the house. Then you got to go buy the food. Then you got to cook the food. And then when the people leave, you got to clean the house again. She goes, it was so much easier when I lived with you. I just came downstairs. Everything was clean. I made an appetizer.
And thought she did a big deal.
Yes. So she's adulting. So that's kind of fun to. I'll tell you one thing good with COVID and with everything is the technology we have to talk to each other every day.
I even go on Zoom calls.
Yeah, you can go on Zoom calls in Germany, like she's right in the room with us.
Yeah.
So that's really fabulous, really fabulous. So we have some wonderful new listeners. We have Jillian from Naples, and we have Sam from St. Pete, and we have Roberta from New Jersey.
Well, welcome. I don't know if Sam's a lady or a gentleman.
I don't either.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, maybe.
And like I always say, there's always plenty of room around the Connecting Caregivers table for more listeners, whether you listen to the show live or whether you listen to the podcast or you go back on YouTube. I think it's fabulous that we have these opportunities where somebody will say to me, I listened to the show 5 weeks ago. It had nothing to do with me. I need to hear that show again this week.
I like the YouTube.
Yeah.
I like the YouTube.
See
it always comes out perfectly.
Yeah. And then and just the the point where maybe you have to have a difficult conversation with someone in your family, you can just go, maybe you want to listen to this show first, depending on what it's about. Because I think having difficult conversations with our families can be difficult. And if there's any way we can soften that up a little bit, I think that's a really good thing to do.
Put the tape on and leave the room? See you when you're smarter, Mom.
Lots to learn. So, Kathy, you have a move management company. You've been on the show before. We do business together. I'm so grateful to partner with you. Tell our listeners a little bit about what you do, and then I want to talk about just some of the different things that's going on with COVID and caregivers and everything.
So, as senior move managers, our role is really everything around the move. So we help with sorting, floor planning, downsizing, and then we coordinate with the movers to get the furniture and the boxes to where they need to be. And then we do the unpacking and the settling in, organizing and settling in.
All the tough stuff.
Yeah, it's, I was with a neighbor this morning who's moving, and they're in their 70s, and she has some health issues. And really, I went over to kind of just advise, and it is overwhelming. They're both exhausted. They've been working for weeks, and so that our role is really to lighten that burden. To say it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to be streamlined. It's going to be stressless as we can make it, but moving is just it's burdensome. It's a hard experience. We do it every day. So like I said to her today, she's like, how do you know so much? I'm like, we do this every day. Right. How can you not know, know what should come first, second, third, fourth, fifth? So we have an amazing team. They're all, employees of the company. So I always tell customers when I'm meeting with them, they can feel comfortable with who's in their home. They've been background checked. Yeah. They've been TB tested. We have been doing some COVID testing. And they're covered by all of our insurance, our general professional liability and our workers' comp policy. So I always say, they're bonded. Please feel comfortable with who's in your home. It's a very intimate process. We're touching people's belongings. We're in their space. But my team does it very compassionately, very competently, and amazingly quick. It's like a miraculous. I just heard from a customer this week, and she goes, "Will you be my Joanna Gaines?" And I said, "Yeah, that kind of is what we do. It's like
I
it's
love
like an
Joanna Gaines.
I know.
She has a new show coming out.
I heard that.
The cooking show.
Yeah, she's
you would
everything.
love to work with her. You would be perfect.
It's very hard work, but it's very gratifying.
I'm very old.
Work. Well, when my mom moved into Freedom Square, my mom and I would be out during the day. She'd be in there hanging curtains and doing this and doing that. We would come back and be all set up.
It's a beautiful thing when they can walk in and it feels like home, especially people with cognitive issues. Yeah. They want to see their belongings. They want to feel some comfort.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. And, it's always a great compliment to us when they're like, oh, this feels just like home. Yeah. Like, oh, that's exactly what we hope. Yeah. So, it's good work.
But you have to tell them what to throw out and
we make recommendations. Okay. I always say, you are the boss. We have a code of ethics that we follow. It's like you are in charge, but we do this every day. So we're going to make recommendations. I think the key really is the floor planning. You want to say, this is where you're going. This is what will fit in this space. Of course, they tell us what's most important to them, and then we try to prioritize that. Right. But safety is one of our key issues. Yeah. We want to make sure they don't have too much in the space. They can navigate it. And even if they're mobile at the time we move them, we say, you may not always be. Right.
And you'll need walkers and wheelchairs and different things, so more space.
Right. So we always want to make sure there's clear pathways for them to get around.
Well, and I think the thing is, too, as sad as it is, nobody wants your stuff.
I know, isn't that sad?
I love my stuff. Everybody loves their stuff. You're saving your stuff, and you think your family wants your stuff, and they don't want your stuff. So I suggest to anybody that's downsizing or anything, give your stuff away now. Yeah. Don't wait until later. If your daughter loves that lamp you have, or that plate, or whatever it is, give it to them now and let them enjoy it. Then the end comes, and sometimes people just say, "Oh, just take all Mom's stuff and give it away."
Right. And 'tis the season. So this is what happens first of the year, is as we decide to go on diets and thin out our bodies. we're also thinking about thinning out our homes.
Yes, I've been
So,
purging.
yeah.
Yeah, you've been doing very well.
Yes, I did my linen closet yesterday.
Yes. No, it's huge.
The other
That's
day I
huge.
did like half of my files,
Yeah.
but you feel so much better.
So much better. It's freeing, right?
I just
It
took some stuff off my dresser and stuff, and like my nightstand.
Mhm.
It just was like too much stuff on there.
Right.
Well, remember when I moved from the 3,500 square foot house to 1,400 square foot condo? I got
And
rid
you
of a lot of
loved all
stuff.
your stuff.
Yes, but it wasn't that difficult. I kept all the good stuff that I liked that my nieces said garbage. You know, the Hummels and the Yardros and the
Yes.
Royal Daltons. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
And they don't even like the fancy china. They would rather have that heavy stuff.
Everybody
Yeah.
uses different stuff. It's funny many times that if a man is in my support group and his wife passes away, he'll call me up and say, "Do you like hummus?"
I know, right? And you say, "I'll take one," right?
Yeah.
Like to be
I
kind.
say, I know places you can donate them to. Or they say, "Would you like to go out to dinner?" I said, I think you need to join Kiwanis.
Oh,
You know?
that's cute.
You got to run on purpose.
It's true. I was just watching. So there's a new show on Netflix that just it premiered yesterday
Okay.
by the Minimalists. I don't know if you've heard of the
No.
Minimalists, but
Tell us.
they are two gentlemen who were raised very simply poor. You know, they were raised poor, but so they accomplished great things in their 20s. Then they just realized that they were living for stuff. So they gave it all up and they have a great following, the Minimalists, but they have a show on Netflix called Less Is Now. And one of the things they said is something I tell customers all the time. It's like the memories are not in the things. They're in your heart and soul, right? So, right? Yeah. So that Hummel, I know, it's like, it's not, it's, take a picture, you know,
Right.
and that's.
But like I have Limoges boxes,
Mhm.
like over 100 of them.
They're little though.
They're tiny. That's why I started saying. But when I open them, I've put cards in who gave them to me and when they gave them to me.
I know. But if you talk to that person and you said, I'm thinking about downsizing and how do you feel about
Well, he's dead, so
Oh.
he wouldn't have much to say. I could
well,
do
there
it.
you go.
Done.
You wouldn't say anything. No, I think that's the hardest part is, that someone gave that to me. And so I can't dishonor them by letting it go, but you can, you can.
Yeah.
It's not, the memory is not in that thing, so, but people, I always try to say, take a smaller quantity. If you have 200 Hummels, find 5 that you would like to bring to your new space. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a process. It's not as simple, and decision making is
Well, plus as
difficult.
we age, it's hard to take care of all that
It
stuff.
is. And dust it. And
Yeah.
Well, see, I have
Really,
everything in
she puts hers in
cabinet
cabinet.
and
She's
neat
good.
and.
Yeah, she's.
You're not ready to let go.
No.
Just admit it. It's okay.
Oh, no,
it's okay.
I'm not. I'm not.
And that's okay. And
But
that's
I
okay.
think sometimes, like just some of that stuff, because if there's like too much clutter around and everything, it's like visual noise.
It is.
It really is unsettling. And I
But
think
my house
people
isn't
don't-
cluttered.
No, not yours.
No.
And I figure I got to give my nieces something to do when I die. They let them give this stuff away.
You'll be calling us. They'll be calling us.
Exactly. I'm
I
going
know.
to leave your number on the
Refrigerator.
book. Yeah.
But we're
Call Kathy. She'll tell you where to throw it.
And we don't. I mean, we do find, we don't sell things, but we work with estate sale people who do. And they will tell you if there's a market. We couldn't possibly keep up with what's
No.
currently popular and do what we do. So I don't think we could do it
No.
effectively. So we don't do estate sales, but we do charity. We keep up with what we can take to charity. And charities have become very picky in our communities.
Really?
Yes, they can be
Because we've
discriminating.
got so many people dying.
We just have a lot of volume. We have a lot
Yeah.
of people who've come to town with a lot of stuff. Our storage units, I mean, you see them surfacing everywhere,
Everywhere.
right? People leave things in storage units. I always say, give
I
yourself,
don't get that.
all right? I say, give
don't.
yourself 6 months,
Right.
to make that decision. And after 6 months, clear out that storage.
Because what
Yeah.
you're paying monthly, by the end of the year, you could
Oh,
have
it's
rebought the
crazy.
stuff you have in there.
Yeah.
And people leave things there for years.
I know.
And have not touched it. And that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not an effective way to operate. So if people can't get rid of things, I'll say, well, okay, if you can't make the decision right now, let's get you a small storage unit and
Yeah.
put those things in. And if you need those things, take them out, use them. But if you find after 6 months you haven't gone to those storage units, it's time to let go.
I try and do that with clothes if I don't wear it in a
Yes.
year. But I got more than a year's worth of clothes. That's a bad thing with me.
Do you flip the hanger when you wear it?
No,
No,
I just
okay.
I love
pretend
that
I wore
idea,
it.
though. But I love that
I
idea.
know.
Yeah, that is a good
I'm
idea.
finally color coordinated. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. But Linda, your point about, once you get something accomplished and every time you open up, darn, you're like, look at that.
I opened
Yeah,
up,
it does
I
make you
opened up
feel
the
good.
linen closet like 4 times since I cleaned it.
Yeah.
Right?
I just go in and go, oh, it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's an accomplishment. It is. Yeah. And you're right. It's freeing. It's liberating. And that's why I think first of the year when we make resolutions, clearing up,
I've
clearing
got to,
out.
but I don't even know where to. Because my stuff is good.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I've broken so many closets. Like the shelf falls and brings everything down. And your husband used to come over and fix them for me. So
yeah.
now what am I going to do?
I don't know,
The
man.
last one, I just shoved a molly halfway. Yeah, so I'm going to have to do something. You're right, Kathy. I'm going to do it.
Time is, you'll know when the time is right. So.
Yeah. Well, like Heidi, my stepmother.
She's
lives in New
always
York
giving
City.
her stuff
She's
away.
85 years old.
Okay.
So she's been giving us stuff.
That's lovely.
Like the favorite vase or the favorite kind of thing. And I like it because I enjoy it. That beautiful vase she brought me. It's just so fabulous. And I get to enjoy it with her.
Right. While they're living.
Yeah.
Right.
Like she comes to my house and she's like, oh, it's, I think that's a good thing rather than after it's over because I don't know.
Yeah. Have you heard of those downsizing parties?
No.
No.
So your Limoges, for example, you invite friends over and you have them pick out a Limoges that they take home.
Are they paying me?
No.
Well, then what's that?
That's a good idea.
But the
That's-
Limoges are good because they're tiny.
Yes. Yeah.
I have cabinets full, and Linda gave me one. But you did that when you left Floral Park. You gave everybody something.
Yeah, I gave away a lot of my stuff
Yeah.
on it.
She came down in the first 2 years she lived here. She had no living room furniture, no dining room furniture, and to clean it was a zip.
Right.
And then all of a
I just need to
sudden,
breathe and find my way.
you loved it, right?
Yeah.
And then you got cluttered, like the rest of us.
Well, that's what the minimalists are saying too, is the bigger the space, the more the stuff, because you feel like you can,
Right.
bring
Yeah.
things in. But then at some point, you're outnumbered, right? You get much
Yeah.
more than you need.
Well, because
So-
all that stuff's in the other room, you don't even go in there anymore, and it's just filled with stuff. You don't even know what's there after a while.
Right. And we are,
Yeah.
what has happened during COVID is people being homebound. Is we've really come to understand how simple it is to have things delivered to us.
Yeah.
How simple it is to purchase everything, food,
Yeah.
belongings. And so what we're finding now, not only packing a few pounds, but also our houses have thickened up by things we've gotten delivered during this time
Yeah.
that we don't really necessarily need. At the time,
'cause
it seemed like a
people
good
live under
idea.
that fear factor.
Yeah. Well, and the minimalist did say too, I just had watched
I
this
love it.
yesterday, but he had talked about how marketing has become so effective. They know what you're looking at. They know,
Yeah.
you've sat
You know
on
when you
this
do a Google
page.
search.
Yeah, they know what you're looking at. They continue to send you prompts, and then you start thinking, well, maybe I really do need this.
Yes. Absolutely. That's soft surroundings. I should delete them.
So yeah, and then things arrive, and you're like, ooh, what was I thinking? So
Well, you know what? When I order anything online, I keep it in the basket usually for 24 hours. And so this is something I know I really need.
that's good
If
practice.
it's like, it's like 9:00 at night and I'm like, oh, let me look at this or whatever. And then it's the next day if I still want it.
That's a
then
good practice.
I'll check it out.
Mm.
That's a good. So it's not the impulse buy.
Yeah.
I see it.
How
I
many
like it.
people
I
do
buy it.
that?
Very,
And
very
it's so simple to do
so
now.
simple to do.
You just push one button, they got your card, they got the whole thing. It's
And a day later, it's
It's
in
at
your
your
driveway.
house,
Right? That's the crazy part, and I think that's adding to our consumerism. So many people we see. I mean, they have boxes that aren't even opened. I mean, they've just received things. There's stacks of
Stacked,
unopened
yeah.
boxes. So anyway, it's job security. I mean, it's things that, we can help people do. But I think one of the beauties of the work that we do is a lot of it is advice. Sometimes people don't even hire us. We always do a complimentary consultation and we'll come in, and if, maybe they don't even need our services, maybe they have family members, and we'll give them, like this, my neighbor this morning, it's like, here's some advice. Here's what I would do. And that's part of our role too. It's part of it's educating people. Yeah.
I could start purging in the kitchen because I don't cook, so I know who needs the pots and pans.
There you go.
It's
Take
true.
just a few. You keep the frying pan, the pot.
When I moved in, it was fully furnished.
And beautiful thing.
Really?
Yeah, I did get
Pots
some
that were
very
way
nice
better
things.
than mine. I gave you and my sister, everybody.
Nice.
So I have like 2 or 3 sets of pots. I've never used my stovetop.
Well, maybe you should have one of those parties one night. Everybody comes and picks a pot.
Yes, fix
Yeah,
a
there you
pot.
go.
Or a couple pots.
Yeah.
I've never used my dishes either.
Well, I think they should pick
Terrible.
a pot, and then you should have another party. They should come back with the pot full.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go.
Wouldn't that be
Good
fun?
There you go.
idea.
Do a soup party.
You could have a pot party.
We mean food, of course.
Yeah, of course. All right, we had the pot first.
And you really. It's time to hear from our wonderful partners, so don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Are you looking for compassionate and dependable home care for you or a loved one? Assisting Hands Home Care, serving Pinellas and Pasco counties, can help.
The day came that taking care of my mother was no longer the best thing for me or for her. Between kids and a job, I couldn't give her the attention she needed and deserved, and I was overwhelmed. So I reached out to Assisting Hands Home Care. Now I can see what an important decision that was, and I feel confident that my mother has compassionate and dependable caregivers who help her to stay happy, healthy, and home. Today, I'm able to visit with my mother and enjoy our time together, which is exactly what we both needed.
Assisting Hands Home Care. Call today for your free in-home consultation. In Pinellas, call 727-748-4211 or visit assistinghands.com. When you can't do it all, give Assisting Hands a call. Arden Courts is an assisted living facility designed to care for those that are struggling with dementia or Alzheimer's, where families and residents can feel the freedom with a nurse on site 24/7. Arden Courts provides specialized memory care in a safe and nurturing environment. They recognize every individual's physical, mental, and social needs and provide a secure environment that fosters independence for as long as possible. Walking paths, visual cues, and home-like amenities invoke a sense of freedom and independence. At Arden Courts, their goal is to make your loved one as comfortable, independent, and healthy as possible. They offer 10 hours a day of activities and programming, with a unique setting of a home-like environment and 4 theme houses. It warms my heart to see how happy the residents are. Please call or stop in to talk with a representative. Arden Courts of Seminole at 727-517-7800, Largo 727-559-8411, or Palm Harbor 727-771-1600. Give them a call.
Is the fear of falling keeping you from doing the things you love? Do you suffer from diabetic neuropathy or plantar fasciitis? VoxLife can help. Whether you're caring for someone you love or being cared for, VoxLife wearable neurotech helps your body reach its full potential. Proven to reduce symptoms of diabetic neuropathy and plantar fasciitis, VoxLife also reduces the risk of falling in adults over the age of 55 by 8 times. VoxLife is a safe, simple, drug-free solution that optimizes your neurology. The biggest breakthrough in wellness in 50 years. VoxLife offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can't afford not to try it. To learn more about VoxLife, go to www.voxlife.com/caregivers. That's www.voxlife.com/caregivers. They help my parents and they can help yours too.
I see trees of green,
Red roses too.
I see them blue.
For me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah.
Nelson.
Thank you.
Okay, caregivers, now it's time for the caregiver affirmation. Take a minute, take a deep breath, sit down, close your eyes if possible, and just listen to these words. I know on my journey there is help and hope. I affirm that I am a good caregiver, that I try my best each day, and I recognize that I deserve to have my own needs met just as much as those for whom I care. I promise I will not allow myself to be consumed by my caregiving role, and I will set aside time in my busy schedule just for me. I am mindful of the other caregivers in my life, and I will let them know that I appreciate their efforts. I am grateful for the people that walk beside me. I will take good care of my own health physically and spiritually, drink enough water, eat quality foods, allow for time to rest and to exercise, laugh often, if only at myself, and seek medical attention for my own health concerns. I am who I am, and I allow others to be who they are. Today I will add one item to my assisting angels list. Then if someone calls to say, let me know if there's something I can do, I will be ready to accept their offer and provide them with the opportunity to assist me. It is an honor to be of service of others, and I will not deny my friends and family this honor. Okay, think about it, caregivers.
So I was chatting with one of my caregivers the other day, and she printed out that caregiver affirmation and she put it in her Christmas cards. A lot of people sent a whole bunch more Christmas cards this year than ever did before. And it just kind of let people know how she's feeling without coming out and making a big story about it. She said, and one of her nieces came over a couple of days later and she said, I'm here, I'm all messed up. I have my cleaning supplies. I'm going to clean the house for you. And she cleaned the house for her. Because sometimes people just don't know what to do. You know, that's what the big thing is. So we just got Ruth Hartman just contacted us through Facebook asked me to talk about a journaling event that we have coming up. So I'm doing a 3-part journaling workshop. It starts January 11th. It's 3 weeks. It's January 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. It's at 11 o'clock in the morning, sponsored by Arden Courts. You can come to one or all 3. You don't have to be a caregiver, but I cannot tell you how important journaling is, how a difference it can make. My first book, Good Night and God Bless, was written from my journals and from my calendar, from my journals that I wrote during the time that I took care of my mother. And some of the journals, you look at them and they're very beautifully, nicely, neatly written. And then there's ones with tears and scribble and cursing and crying and everything. And I did some journaling too during the time when I was just taking care of Tom the last few months. And I just looked back at something this morning and it shows you how far you came. Sometimes it's just what you overcame and where you can go next. So it's really easy. I would love for you to be part of the journaling workshop. If anybody's interested, just go to my website and email me and I will send you the link. And Arden Courts will mail or deliver a beautiful journal for you to use also during the class. So I encourage you to come. A lot of my caregivers have been asking me for a long time to do this. And like I said, you can come 1 week or all 3 weeks. And I think it's pretty fabulous. You know, I found some notes the other day from a journaling workshop that I did in 2012. And this one woman, it was for a senior group. And this one woman started writing after that. And she won a senior essay contest. And it was like, oh, it was like so wonderful. And then she actually wrote a book about her family, Dorothy. Remember we had her on the show, 90 something years old. That just came from a journaling workshop. She found that freedom and she started writing and started telling her story. And it was just a story about her life. And maybe she printed 20 copies for her family and friends, but it was fabulous. So I hope you'll join us with that.
My nieces would be shocked with what I write in it.
Well, I'll tell you, some of my journals will be destroyed probably before the day I die.
I know.
And some will be there. So some I'm very curious. Like I say, I've been purging and cleaning through stuff and finding different things. It's interesting.
Linda, I look at journaling as decluttering the mind. We talk about decluttering and I find, I don't know, the book by Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way, talks about morning pages and how it's just a great way to let go of all the clutter in your head so that you can be clear-headed during the day and get to the important things, right?
Yeah.
So
and then burn it.
And then burn it. And then really, I always say it's for your eyes only. You know what I mean? So you should write that way, freely and not worry about anybody else.
Well, I'll tell you, that made me think about that. Don't read it. After my mom passed away, so my sister and I are at her house and we're going through all these things and we find this spiral notebook. Well, my mom put a personal ad in the newspaper. You know how they did in the day?
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Where you got the suitor wrote you a letter or something. And I'm my sister, I'm like, what the heck? And my sister's like, oh, I remember that. That's when my first husband died. And I did one. And Mom said, I'm going to do one too. She goes, but Mom never told me that anyone ever contacted her or anything. So in the book, on the left-hand side of the page, you'd have the letter. And on the right-hand side, you'd have all the notes in shorthand.
Back in the day.
So my sister's like, we got to learn shorthand. I said, I don't think so. I don't think she wanted us reading that. And then on one letter, she just had a big X through it. I'm like, we know about that one. But you know what? Just finding that book and it was so enjoyable.
Yes.
I used to write letters to the person and not mail it.
Okay.
Then one time I came across and I relived it. I went, well, I should have burned it.
Wow.
I think it's good I did burn it right away.
Yeah.
No.
But writing a letter to them to tell them how mean they are.
But then a couple of weeks ago, my brother-in-law tells me, oh, there's a whole box of cards here in Tom's closet. It's like 15 years of cards that I sent to him.
Oh.
And that my daughter sent to him. And then and so I was like, oh, I did like 2 or 3. I'm like, not today.
No.
We do that. But that's a big deal. Because I'm such a card girl.
Oh my goodness, he must have had millions.
Yeah.
She sends cards. Well, you know that.
We would go on vacation. We would go to a hotel, let's say, and we would check in, and then the guy behind the desk said, "Mr. Burrians, there's a card here for you." So I would send them
You would send them in
ahead of
advance.
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's special.
One time, really funny. And I would put notes in his lunch. I do that with my grandchildren and stuff too. He was going to we had a power washing business, and he was going to a power washing convention, and his partner was going to, and they had all this stuff packed in duffel bags, and I put all these notes in my husband's shirts. Ho! I put him in Pete's shirts, not in my husband's shirts. They had the same company duffel bags. They had the same shirts. So poor Pete, he's in the hotel that night. He finds a note for me in his clothes. Oh my God.
I wonder what was in the note.
Something that he shouldn't have read.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun experience.
But there's something to be said about a handwritten. I mean, that's the whole point of journaling is like the handwritten.
Yeah.
It's something about the physicality of it.
And the same thing about notes. I mean, I think we've gotten so computer driven, we type everything, that when you handwrite a note, someone receives a handwritten note, it's very special. It's very special to get something. So I think there's something to be said about that. Even, caregivers writing down their innermost, frustrations, thoughts, and just
their gratitude.
And gratitude, the big G.
When my granddaughter lived with me, she had a gratitude journal. And so at night, on the left-hand side of the page, she would write three things that she was grateful for. On the right-hand side, she would write 3 things that she was grateful for in advance.
Oh, lovely.
So she's setting herself up. And we can do that too as caregivers.
Right.
I'm grateful for the wonderful week I'm having, or for whatever goes on. Because so much of it is our choice.
Right. And positivity. I mean, that's I think so much negativity in 2020 that trying to keep positivity at the forefront is so critical, right? Yeah. I mean, how can you're right, you can let go of all the stuff that's negative, but what is the positive?
Yeah. You can play music and dance around the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have music everywhere.
Yeah.
And we can take full advantage of that.
Right.
And we have Alexa everywhere, every place. And
I think she's listening because I talk out loud a lot. When something's bothering me, I talk out loud or I miss somebody, and I think she's got a book on
very
me.
clever.
She's listening. You betcha. She's listening.
I'm like, thank you, Alexa. She's like, you're welcome, Linda.
I haven't told her my name yet.
She knows. One day
actually, I'm on your account, so I'm Linda too, so it'll work out.
Yeah, but that's so convenient. Sometimes I'll just walk into the room and say, Alexa, play this song. And you just feel good. It just comes on. You don't have to look for it. It's a song you wanted.
Well, I gave my sister the pods last year, and she thought she'd never use it because she had her music and that. Now it's like her favorite thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't have to go hook this up to this and that. You just say play such and such, and
it's so great for seniors.
Yeah, music is very. I mean, that could be part of your positive actions, right? Listen to songs that bring you joy. Talk about bringing you back to a moment in time, right? Oh my gosh,
it's amazing, isn't it?
A song. I mean, you just you're in that time frame with those people in that dress, right?
Yeah.
I know, it's awesome. Yeah.
You were going to ask Kathy about
decluttering.
Yeah, and people for hourly
I want
or
to talk
whatever.
more about your services.
Okay.
So you explained to me on break that they're a la carte. Can you explain that to my? So let's say I'm not even thinking of moving, but I'm thinking I got to start cleaning out some stuff and doing some stuff. Can you help me with that?
Absolutely. So, yeah, any of our anything that we do, we can do a la carte. The only thing we ask is that if we come out, it's at least 3 hours of time. Okay.
Right.
Because, we have the transportation aspect of that. So, but we will
come on, you need 3 hours at least. Come on.
Right. Well, and once you get started,
Yeah.
usually we get going. Sometimes, 4 is probably better, but the minimum of 3. And so, we always say sorting is the most arduous part of the process because it requires decision making, right?
Yeah.
So, but I have I have several team members who are very, very good at a stack of papers. What do you need?
Yeah.
And I think paper is one of the things that we are completely buried under.
Yeah, I like
paper.
paper.
So how can we sort through and file very simply file the critical things, or if you want it scanned, you have a scanner.
Right.
That's obviously a little bit more advanced process, but
But it's sometimes easier just having somebody help you. This person is coming on
because
this
we have
day.
3 years of Duke Energy bills and whatever. That's what I need to get rid of, because when I file, I always cross-reference too.
Yes.
So there's a couple of copies in there in case I don't remember. It's there.
Right. Well, and I have seen my team members do this, and it just astounds me, where they'll have a stack of papers and they will go through, they can look at dates, and they'll say stock certificate. Like in the middle of a stack of papers is a stock certificate. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Wow.
That they know what they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
They do this enough that they know
Maybe
what.
we could have them come find some stock certificates. I never had any, but you never know.
You never know. In some of these homes,
Yes,
it's
this
true.
is the generation where everything was on paper.
Right.
So, and then what we'll do is we'll take the bag of shredding away from, we bring it to a place where
I've got to go again. I went last year. Kiwanis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What
Chamber
had it, and you can go and just give a small donation, and it was great. I had big garbage bags full, and I have to do that again.
Yeah,
that's where I'm going to do my purging.
Well, and that's where the average person, it's, I think we're all guilty of what is shreddable, so
well,
my
especially
team,
since we were paper people. I'm a paper person.
Yes.
Everybody goes, you can see it all online. I don't like it online. I like it on the paper.
I know.
How many Duke Energies a year? So you know the next year that it was the same, how much money you spent last year at the same time? Or
you never look at it.
No. I think
so
that's.
how many do you think?
What do you mean? Are you asking how many you save?
Yes.
Well, everything's digital now.
Yeah. Oh, no, not in my
not
house.
for you.
It's not.
Okay. So you can go back to Duke Energy bills and see what you were charged last year. Or you could.
If you like
you can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everything's online. I know.
Come on.
I know.
I have a flip phone, Kathy. Never mind. Go online to see what my bill was.
I know. But yes, so services
so you
are.
can.
Yeah. So services are a la carte. If someone just needs help. Sometimes it's just help me with my kitchen, right? The things I don't need. Just help me lighten up my kitchen so I don't have, I always talk to people about one use, utensils, right? I just used my shrimp deveiner this weekend, but what about the cherry pitter?
That,
what about,
Right.
So start thinking through, when's the last time I used this particular?
Yeah, I got rid of some utensils last week.
Yes. We should, so as we move customers, what we're going down to typically is one drawer for utensils.
And
Most
really,
of us
how
live
much
with,
do you need?
yes. And how much do you need? You need your can opener.
Your
You need
spoon,
your,
right.
yeah.
I use one drawer.
Yeah. So
The
that's
wine
great.
The wine corkscrew and the soup ladle are in the same cabinet because I use them every day.
Okay. But that's something people
Don't touch those.
No, those are important. But sometimes, people have the big drawers filled with multiple.
The more
I have a lot.
the more stuff.
Correct.
And mine are still in the paper they came in because people give them to me and I don't do the kitchen. So I just took a knife out my sister gave me 5 years ago. I just took it out and then I cut myself and nearly cut my thumb off.
Safer in the paper.
Don't let her have
Safer.
a knife. No.
Look at that.
I know.
Oh, be careful. So anyway, so we'll do whatever a customer needs us to do, and they do it very efficiently. They, like I said, they do it every day. So
That would be
job.
fun to do for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Have someone come over.
Yeah. I think it's a really good idea. And like I said, you just need sometimes that other person to help you. And especially when you're going through, all right, so remember when I was making the movie for Tom? So I was making a video with about our life and songs and stuff. I have one closet, ceiling to floor, photo albums, all labeled, fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to go through these albums and pick pictures.
Mm.
And I asked my daughter to sleep over one night. We just went through one album and cried.
Oh.
And this is before he even passed away. We didn't do anything. So I had a deadline, though, because I was going to have this thing made. And she comes over one day. She goes, "That's it. 20 minutes each hour. Don't tell me any stories. No crying. No nothing." Just pick
We
'em.
did it all.
Yep. Sometimes an objective person does make a difference.
Yeah,
you know?
it was great.
Yeah.
But every time I came across us together, I go, "I can't say anything about that. You don't want me to talk about that."
Because she did it with her daughter, she did it with her granddaughter, and
It
they
was too
came up
emotional.
with 2 pictures. And now we're having this big, huge party for his 70th with 2 pictures. I said, no, that's not working.
I know. You need a take charge person, right?
Well, because there was emotional aspect.
Yeah, I know,
in there, too,
absolutely.
but-
Well, and that's
So
that
ask
is
for
really the
help.
story of our customers' lives. It is an emotional journey. You know, this is a transition. This is it's
Well,
a
it's
big
one
deal.
of the biggest things in life: death, divorce,
Moving.
loss of job, or something
Yes,
like the
number
4
3.
biggest or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
But I like that, putting them on something you can watch like you did for the pictures.
Yeah.
You know, because really, how often do you go back to the albums? But to put the DVD into your player and it comes to life.
Yeah, and one of the best things I did is I had somebody come and interview Tom.
Oh, lovely.
So it was like a 2-hour interview. And then she edited and she gave it back to me. And Tom said, "I really like it, but I don't want you to play it until after I pass away." Could I find it?
Oh, no.
Well, I could get another one from her. I had 3, but I went over to my brother-in-law's house, and he goes, "Is this one of them?" And I'm like, "Yes, get the CD player right now." Because I hadn't heard it in almost 2 years. But it was the most fabulous thing, just having his voice and having his laugh. And, his brother sitting there reliving his life when they used to play stoop ball. So I encourage you don't have to pay somebody and do it like I did. Everybody's got recorders.
Right.
Ask some questions. Sit down and spend that time.
Teresa Wilbanks just posted something on her newsletter about the 300 questions you should ask before it's too late or something. What a great idea.
Yeah.
My mom's 95 and it's kind of too late to ask some of those questions,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have a new podcast starting this year, and it's Connecting Caregivers Presents, and one is going to be Candid Conversations with Elders.
Love it.
So I have a woman that I go see once a week, Mama Rose, and we're doing her story.
Oh, love it.
And some other things, because I just think it's so interesting.
It is. I mean, what they lived through. Someone was just telling me they interviewed a family member who lived through the last pandemic, right? I mean,
Oh, wow.
crazy. I mean,
that was what, 1918?
1918, but remembered what it felt like and
Wow.
could still articulate it, which is amazing.
Because most
right?
people, even if
No.
they were alive, wouldn't be able to
No,
articulate it.
I mean, because we're talking, 102 years old, right?
Yeah.
103 years old. So, yeah.
Wow, fabulous.
Amazing.
All right, it's time to hear from our wonderful partners, because you know the deal. If you don't hear from them, you don't hear from me. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers.
The Tan Talk Radio Network.
Choosing the right chiropractor is an important choice to make. Located in Seminole, the Alexander Spine Center team is trained on the latest chiropractic treatments and technologies. At Alexander Spine Center, you'll find chiropractic and physical therapy care that is safe, effective, and a natural approach to pain and other health-related issues. Chiropractic unlocks your body's potential and natural healing process to ensure your life is a healthy life. We treat clients from the womb to the tomb. Call 727-397-3000 for a free consultation today, or visit our website at www.alexanderspinecenter.com.
They take good care of me twice a week. And did you know they got the Reader's Choice Award for 2019 for the best chiropractic in Pinellas County? So check them out. Arden Courts is an assisted living facility designed to care for those that are struggling with dementia or Alzheimer's, where families and residents can feel the freedom with a nurse on site 24/7. Arden Courts provides specialized memory care in a safe and nurturing environment. They recognize every individual's physical, mental, and social needs and provide a secure environment that fosters independence for as long as possible. Walking paths, visual cues, and home-like amenities invoke a sense of freedom and independence. At Arden Courts, their goal is to make your loved one as comfortable, independent, and healthy as possible. They offer 10 hours a day of activities and programming with a unique setting of a home-like environment and 4 theme houses. It warms my heart to see how happy the residents are. Please call or stop in to talk with a representative. Arden Courts of Seminole at 727-517-7800, Largo 727-559-8411, or Palm Harbor 727-771-1600. Give them a call.
Guaranteed to make you laugh through your tears, Linda Burhan's book, Good Night and God Bless, is filled with humor and heartfelt inspiration to aid anyone facing the challenge of caring for a loved one at the end of life. Her story offers hope for human strength and understanding of weaknesses during a difficult time. Life doesn't normally prepare us to become a loved one's caregiver. When it happens, it's usually sudden. A diagnosis of an illness, age-related frailty, dementia, and life suddenly is anything but normal. And because we don't even know what we don't know, where do we turn to for help or guidance? In Connecting Caregivers, Answers to the Questions You Didn't Know You Needed to Ask, Linda offers information, education, and inspiration from her own experience and from experts whose advice, practical tools, and personal stories will empower and guide you. Make sure to add these inspiring books to your collection today. Available on Amazon.com.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
And they're off. You know what that means? Time to get your pen and paper because Lynn's got good stuff to tell you.
I do.
Yes, you do.
All right. If you're interested in anything I'm going to say, just go to Linda's website, lindaburhans.com, and she'll give you all the links so that you can zoom in.
Yeah, just email me through the website.
Right. Okay. On January 11th, 18th, and 25th at 11 a.m. That's when Linda's going to be doing her journaling. She was talking about her journaling Zoom. That's it.
That's it.
And then the dementia dance, when to lead and when to follow, is Tuesday, January 19th at 11 a.m. And that's Linda again.
Because, sometimes it's a waltz, but most of the times it's a jitterbug.
Yeah, if you're talking, it is. All right. And then she's also doing You, Me, and Dementia. Alzheimer's Speaks Out. And that's Wednesday, February 25th at 11.
And that will be with Maureen Rillison and Brian LeBlanc. Brian has dementia. So we will be having an interactive conversation on his feelings and how they co-partner. And I think that's really important to talk to the people that have dementia.
It is. And then Arden Courts presents COVID-19 Through the Eyes of Our Elders. And that will be on January 19th at 3 p.m. And then Freedom Squares presents Tea and Tax Breaks. And that's on January 20th at 11 a.m.
And that's a tea and some financial advisors via Zoom that will give some information according to tax break. Also, Veterans Heat Factory is having a fundraising night at the VFW Post in Spring Hill on January 30th. So it's going to be virtual. It's going to be on a big, large screen, and they're going to have Milton Berle, Sid Caesar, George Burns, Red Skeleton, Phyllis Diller, and many more. And it's $20 for tickets, and there'll be food there and everything.
You must be in heaven.
Yeah, and they're going to be on the show, I think, the week after next. So Veterans Heat Factory helps a lot of veterans that really need a lot of help. So think about that. It'd be fun to go out and see all those fabulous stars on there.
Do you know that I was listening to, end of year show, and they were saying who had passed this year. I didn't know Mary Higgins Clark passed away.
Oh, I didn't either.
I just bought one of her books. It must have been written before. Yeah.
She's one of my favorites.
I know, that's what I mean.
That's actually how I started reading.
Yeah,
I
you
never
got
really
me
read
on
much
to
in
her.
school, and I was going on vacation somewhere, and I picked up this book, Where Are the Children, was her first book.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hooked.
So you got me hooked on Love Music, Loves to... The one...
Loves to Dance?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
and then
really
I got
good.
hooked. I didn't know she passed.
No.
Oh, and you know who passed just the other day was Marianne from Gilligan's Island.
I saw that.
My neighbor posted the true beauty queen. And that's
We
true,
all thought
right?
she was the
Yes.
cutest thing. But
Yeah,
you know
she
how old?
was.
I was shocked how old she was.
82?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking she was more my age. 45.
She did look useful. I know, 45, 39. No, she was lovely. Yeah. Aww.
But yeah, Mary Higgins, Eleni, what are we going to do?
I don't know. That's one of my commitments this year. I want to try to read a book a week.
Oh, I read 3 or 4 a week.
No, you read 3 or 4.
I
I've been
love
so
reading.
slacking.
It's all garbage, but I love it.
So I'm reading a Janet Ivanovich right now.
I just finished her
It's a
newest
Christmas one.
I'm so tired of them, but I can't not buy it. She just came out with the last Stephanie Plum, and they're silly, but they make me laugh. And
Yeah, it's just
Stone
an
Barrington
escape.
ones, certain ones just.
I mean, I read very
happy.
serious books. I read books to learn. But sometimes you just need a good laugh or a good mystery or
But you know, you
whatever.
learn something anyway. I find out.
Yes.
It might be something that they're talking about the internet or some saying I didn't know, and so it's fun.
Right.
Anything
you learn
you
new
read
words
is good.
and whatever. Yeah, yeah, it's all good. So, what are you seeing is happening with the caregivers during this COVID?
Yeah, it's been, obviously stressful on everyone. I think the hardest part has been the lack of accessibility. I'm thinking about people in communities. You're talking about people who are at home with their. Yeah. I think safety, has been one of the biggest stressors. Is how do I keep my loved one safe?
Yeah.
It's very hard for someone with dementia to understand COVID.
Oh, I know, and understand the limitations. I know we spent a lot of time.
Why can't I go out? Why do I
Right.
have to wear a mask?
And the communities that we serve, those that are memory care communities, I mean, you can't say stay in your room or be here. There is the freedom to walk around, which makes the work that we do hard. But I think the caregivers, and I noticed this with, our dear friend Teresa, is you don't even want to go out and be with people because you don't want to bring anything back to your loved one. And I think that has been one of the hardest, is protecting their loved ones.
Yeah.
I think that's, and all of us, I think all of us feel that way. I mean, we want to do
because the whole
everything
thing's
we
been so fearful, and we don't know what we get all sorts of numbers. What's true? What's not true? What's this? You hear people being tested for COVID. I know somebody that made an appointment for a COVID test and didn't go, and they sent her a positive result.
Wow.
Yeah, it was actually one of the people in my daughter's salon, a client.
Wow.
And so our daughter said, "Ma, that's ridiculous. That couldn't happen." So her daughter went online and made an appointment, didn't go, and she got a positive test too.
Wow.
So it's just scary. I don't like
Fear.
this living in fear. I don't like this not knowing.
Should be levels of COVID too, like very mild, mild all the way to serious. Like 4 levels.
Yeah, it's craziness. But anyway, okay, enough of COVID for today.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're here for you all the time. If you have any questions, you can always contact me through the website.
Which the website?
LindaBurhands.com. Kathy, give them your contact information.
So you can contact us by phone at 727-474-5547. Our website is krbmovemanagement.com. And please feel free to use the link there for more information. We're here to help.
Right. And you can find them on my website too. And remember, they give a free consultation, which I think is really important. So if you're thinking about it and you're not sure, take advantage. I think somebody's just making that first step. And
if they want to get in touch with me, too bad.
She's got a flip phone. She doesn't want to talk to anybody. So sign up for the journaling workshop and some of the other things that I mentioned today. Support groups next Saturday. Yep. Next Saturday, I'll be doing my Saturday morning support group, and there's a bunch other on my website and other ones that Debbie Selsavish does also. Remember, God loves you all the time, and have a delicious day.
Thank you, Linda. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.